Well, we're joined now by French journalist Albert Lecornu.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
Obviously, a big moment and potentially an historic moment as well, given that it's been a number of years since we've had a socialist leader, and it's looking likely that Hollande will actually win, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been 17 years since the last socialist president was François Mitterrand. And actually for Hollande, if he goes through, it's been like he's been waiting for this moment for 42 years, I think. I mean, he was interviewed when he was 15 and he said, you know, I want to be French president, you know. So it is a big moment, and the tension is running really high in France at this very moment, actually, yes.
Albert, how much is it a case that Hollande has connected and appeals to the French people, or how much is it that the electorate is going, we want nothing more to do with Sarkozy?
I would say actually the second, you know, it's more about people are fed up with Sarkozy. 5 years ago he came into power and with lots of promises, and people had lots of hope. And he didn't really deliver anything, to be honest, at least in the eyes of, you know, a lot of people in France. So I would say today the vote is more about, yes, we want Sarkozy out. And Hollande, you know, he's warmed up to, you know, to people. He's shown in the debate on Wednesday that he was capable of holding his own. So it's a bit of both, but I would say mainly, you know, people want Sarkozy out.
Is it fair to say that people have underestimated François Hollande? I mean, he's perhaps less well, well, obviously less well known than Nicolas Sarkozy, but, you know, has he, as you were saying, he's warmed to the public as they've come to know him?
Yes, I mean, you know, he's always been in the shadow of great people, starting with François Mitterrand and then Jacques Delors, who was one of the architects of Europe, and then more recently Lionel Jospin, who was... And even you would say his ex-wife, Ségolène Royal, who also went for president. So he's always been sort of in the shadow. Now he's really come to the fore, but only really, I would say, even in the last 2 weeks, you know. That's basically what happened.
Now, it won't be just France watching this election closely, but the whole of Europe,
yes,
particularly with the tight alliance, almost the 1-2 workings of Germany and France during the financial crisis, and Angela Merkel and Sarkozy have almost worked as a team. Is Hollande going to be accepted in the same way more broadly in the Eurozone, and what sort of role does he see France playing in the Eurozone without it impacting so much on his own country?
Well, that's a very good question, Scott, and I actually think that Hollande is very capable. I mean, as I just said, he was always in the shadow of great pro-European men, you know, Mitterrand and Delors and etc. And I think that Sarkozy has always been seen to be at the beck and call of the likes of Angela Merkel, you know. And I think Hollande will be much more trying to rebalance the power, you know, between you know, the rest of his European allies, Cameron included, and France. So with a bit more growth, you know, and he's got the momentum going for him, because we've seen in the past few weeks that austerity measures have not been as successful as people would have hoped. He's proposing something different. He's proposing a bit more growth and less austerity, and so I think he's got assets in his game, basically, in Europe.
And how is the situation locally within France? I mean, I understand that there's been quite a lot of division that's emerged around the presidential election. So how is France looking as we move forward? Is France going to be able to pull together behind François Hollande, or are we likely to see that those divisions will continue?
Well, I mean, the word you used is division, and I think Hollande has very much been trying to use the word union. I'm above parties, and I'm here to you know, to link people together, rather than what Sarkozy has been trying to do, is to basically, you know, focus on the fear of foreign people, the fear of the crisis, etc., which is more of a dividing sort of thing, yeah.
But that fear must resonate with a lot of the electorate, given the unusually high standing of the extreme right with Marine Le Pen. So they must have touched on something there.
Well, it's not the first time that's happened. That this has happened. You know, I mean, Marine Le Pen's dad. You know, for many years and 10 years ago in particular, there was a similar situation of people crystallizing around him. And this time, I think it's just, you know, Marine Le Pen comes across as a very sure, self-assured person. And I think that's what people want, rather than, you know, and of course she touches on subjects and issues which are close to the heart of French people. But I'd say it's close to, you know, other countries as well, immigration and unemployment and education. So I don't think it's, you know, specific to Marine Le Pen, but she does come across as somebody really self-assured, and I guess that's also what people liked about her.
So we're expecting, obviously, François Hollande to win this particular election, although that's not certain. Nicolas Sarkozy has clawed back a bit of that lead. But in terms of, you know, if François Hollande does actually win, what can we expect from him as president? Are there still a lot of question marks over, you know, how he might perform?
Well, I think, you know, of course, I mean, people have been saying that he's never he's never been a minister, he's never, you know, been prime minister or anything like that. But he's got a lot of experience. He comes from a family that's been in politics as well. His dad, you know, actually on the far right for some reason, but he's never, you know, been in favor of his dad's political views, but basically over the past 42 years he's been very much you know, consistent in terms of, if not in the limelight, at least he's been very consistent in his running of a town he was mayor of, and a region as well, and the Socialist Party as well, which was in disarray, and he managed to put people back together, you know. So I think he's got quite a bit of credit. It's just not come to the limelight yet, to the fore.
Albert Le Colonet, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll see how that all works out.